Hey, so this one's gonna be like really freestyle, just talking about whatever comes to mind on this flow. So, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good right now. What can I say? I'm just chilling, doing my thing. Trying to get more creative, trying to, figure out what's happening in the world and stuff like that, and finding that balance between fragile like life and then very tough life where yeah I really wonder about how, like the state of things. I really wonder. Because I desire to not be like to not be a part of toxic masculinity. I desire, to not be part of it. See if I can glitch this. Hi, YouTube. I'm taking over tonight. This is my channel. This is what I'm doing. It's my profile. And I'm taking over. just a statement, right? Just a statement. For some reason, that's what came to mind. And, that gets into freedom of speech, like what type of shit? So at this point in the video, if you've come this far and you think that's weird, I'm gonna give you an option to kindly, leave the video. That's just a joke. That's just a joke. I actually don't want you to leave the video. I want you to stay here. I changed my mind. Let's get everyone here. That's something kind of gnarly. It's kind of gnarly. What? So, apologies. Okay, on some real, we can change the way this video is headed. Real heavy heroin charge. That's all you knew about that. How do they do that? So, yeah, here we are back to Ghost Adventures. There's plenty of things that I would do, and this is probably the distinguishing factor, is who would do what. And maybe just an idea flow, but maybe noticing that in other people. So for example, let me think of this real quick. There was someone who mentioned that he had a business, right? He had a business, this is all I'm gonna say. He had a business, and he offered some students of his to like come along. So he basically, since there's fact checkers, um, yeah. Anyways, the point is, there's a lot of things I would do. Because that basically was it's like a thought train. It's like the right thing to do, and it's still the wrong thing to do. And then this kind of gets into just being a social chameleon. So you don't want to do it unnaturally. You want to be a pretty much natural at it. I mean, well, yeah. Anyone is going to want to be a natural. Like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. Anyways, as far as, this type of stuff, it's a good night. Hi, how are you? See, I'm in the process of learning. See, this is what I was talking about on that post, right? Is, tricky. This ties in with what I was talking about with language, actually. How language always has to be some tricky trap. Like, tricky. Sometimes, not always. Language can free you. Language can be awesome. It's just that you get tied in and conjunct, and it can mess with your head a little bit when you're tied in with someone else's free will. That's one way to put it. The non-physical versus physical. You give me, well, I miss Cali. One of those kind of videos. It's like I'm lacking a little bit of creativity here. It's really, so like one example here that I have is like this. There was this person that asked me to heal them after they saw me try something, right? And that worked the first time. So they said, "Oh, can you do anything? What's the next thing?" Kind of like that. And I had to tell them, it's like you got to trust in the process. And literally them doubting or them like projecting too much onto me like that made me like not able to do it, So like it's because they were looking at me like I was the source of like the power of that healing. Does that make any sense? When it's really God and the stars and the void, heaven, whatever you want to call it. It's his stuff, but how has that become such a generic concept? Just like, just praise Jesus, like you want to get into the deeper layers of the effects it can have when you change dynamics of society. That is the difference. That actually makes sense right there. Now that makes sense. I just got a piece of information somehow. That makes a whole lot of sense. Anyways. Then there's just like, okay, so as far as like decision making as a man. Decision making, you just got to make a decision and the fine balance, because people are just gonna, I mean, okay, so this is getting tricky. This is getting really tricky. Well, I'm liking this. It's not about like trying to act like you're cool. It's not about that. But how am I caught up in that? It's a beautiful lesson. It's the consciousness now of those people realizing what I've already realized in a way. Now, my lessons go deeper because I struggle with lust. That's one of my main lessons here on the earth is once I'm lured, then I forget things. I get carried away. Some people, it's almost as if they have a different lesson than me, which I'm sure they know. It's just, again, these issues with language. So, what can you do about that? I guess on here, it really connects good when someone understands the positive thinking that I'm doing for the channel, like that I'm like, you know, where I try to be something unique or different and connect the dots. You know what I mean? Anyways, so because it can, there's a certain degree of boredom that you face to have fun, right? You build, and it's not crazy, it's just offering the sanity to people. Just obviously they know something, and they know what is true to them in their heart mind. They know what's true to them at the end of the day as far as morals and value systems. So you got to kind of find a fine balance there where, you know, this is the full film here. It's the good stuff. So, like, how do you put it? Hard to perceive. Lots of channels. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. Those are some smart people. Like, apologies. That's right. Okay. It's really, okay. So, I want to apologize that I technically hated on my high school, right? I didn't mean it like that. Like, it's just, you're seeing me like processing the weight of the system, you know? Like during that time, I'm just processing the weight of the system. You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, we're gonna have to do all these packets and all this stuff and all this homework and all this stuff, man. And it's like the boringest thing ever. And potentially I'm onto something here. That some of this stuff is like a fine balance where obviously you got to learn how to learn. But then there's like, there's a hysteria there. There's something, and hysteria gets into a little bit of torture. Morals, corporate morals video. Had that one. Let me not lose this thought train, God. What was I saying? I love people, man. I really do. I really do. I have a vengeance and a rage, not a hatred. I have vengeance, not hatred. So just simply I follow up with novelty. So depending on how much, that was my train of thought there. You know, there's a lot going on. Because I actually like people a lot, and I like pretty much everyone. It's just that you can't, when the system decides to squash you like a bug, you know, like as if it doesn't even matter. Like to them, the equivalent of like you going through hell to them is just like a push of a button. You know, that is like a real reality. Like that's not a good feeling when decisions like that are being made. That's not a good feeling. Hard to explain. Is it not? What is any one thing, or, you know, so stuff like that, facing the upward of the upward stream, going upstream like a salmon, getting bigger muscles going upstream, however that works. It's that the idea flows are a good thing. Let's see here. Help me remember what I was just thinking about, Cell Night. So like right now, there's some underlying factors that are in the way of the creativity, obviously. But I would suggest that it's not dope. So it's all chill. I just simply, all I was saying is like, I like to hang out with people, you know, that's all. Too much pressures, man, like that's all that is me feeling interesting idea flows, man. It's just feeling like the weight of the gravity of that, you know, like I knew school was corrupt. I knew it. I knew I was onto something, and I knew I didn't have enough time to really like change that for everyone, you know, and I basically am battling with that. So my intention is good. Now little calcification wizards get on and, you know, either at the dentist or somewhere, they're going to try to get you on a lot of fluoride. To make sure that everything is real egotistical and real, because it blocks off your intention. That's what certain drugs do, like fluoride, is it blocks off your intention. So your intention, your eyes' inner intention, becomes like confused, and then you just go into the world and into just the next fake thing. It's almost as if every human likes real interaction. You know? Illusions. You're going to their page, really? Come back. Baby, come back. Baby, come back. All right. So that is the understanding, is slowly building, like basically some really American people who like basically probably most likely are on the grid, off grid, but there's really no not encountering the grid. everyone basically has to that's in the States. It's trying to get past some certain movements and intentions and things to just lock you up in a cell. Just trying to lock you up in a cell ultimately, or even worse. But these people must have access to drugs. They must at the top. They must, because it doesn't really make sense. Like, what all would you do? How would you have fun sober? If you have like a mansions and all the stuff, and you're Ebenezer Scrooge, you know, where you haven't shared anything at all, and you're worth like trillions of dollars, but you basically know that you yourself have ruined, you know what I mean? Like, you must, that's relevant, right? You saw what I was thinking there, right? So, yeah, you saw me almost fail at getting the ideas, and I squirmed it out, came up with some good ideas. So, shenanigans. Anything is going to be how you do it. Shenanigans are great. Is that making sense? Like, or should be. Then it just gets sour or rotten. And then you just go through the cycles and just keep meeting people halfway. Just something about how if you connect the dots on real life, people will usually respond to that. Hard to explain. I don't think that hit pinpoint on the mark for the money, like what people were looking for. Taking my socks off. Let me do a little high cartwheel. I got a lot of silver on though. Some type of movement. Let's see how I'm walking. It's been fun. My plan is bodybuilding. I know how to do it, and it's almost like, you know, there's not much they can do to just stop you. It's just that there's something just bare minimum. Knowledge of parasites, right? Knowledge of some parasitical type of thought trains, and then even still, there's just something too locked up, right? There's something too locked and key about certain things, right? So that's that. It doesn't ultimately work unless you're not afraid to work. When you become not afraid to work, and you become not afraid of, and you just absorb the pain of like these low, it's hard to explain, but high vibration stuff like that, people, you know, they really enjoy the heart, mind, and stuff like that, and they really enjoy the fruits of life. So certain ignorances can really drive them crazy, based off how things really pan out and really go here on the earth. And because it can look like one thing on the surface, and it can be an entirely different thing in the subconscious. And that's, as long as I have that understanding, I'll at least remember that, you know. Just in case I see anything up there, I can catch it on camera. That'd be awesome. And all of a sudden it's like, well, I'm the one that has it, you know. So, here I am at work, my job. So that's the idea. Building a free skill. The closest example of that is basically like certain fields, you know, where like they lack people retire, and then they have a shortage. So then you head that direction. There's gold in the hills, so you go get the gold. Or, you know, becoming such a healer, such a bodybuilder, such a this and that you just don't even exactly know, like, that's exactly what I'm going through. Oh my gosh, that's exactly me. You don't even know exactly how it's going to pan out. You just know that it's some type of gold. You know, so anyways, I'm really trying to get back onto some money topics. For the sake of alignment and spirituality. This is fun. Yeah, I'm feeling good right about now. Feeling real good. I guess, you know, yeah. YouTube is karma, and I've got to work around that. I've got to work around the fact that YouTube is karma. Shouldn't be like a bad thing. It shouldn't be like a toxic thing. It's just that simply cameras is the same as capturing real like life. That's all. It's not a bad thing. It's supposed to unite everything. So that's literally the installation there, is I'm connecting with other people on YouTube because I can't travel with my money to see them. And I don't know how to meet them otherwise. Something like that. Cooking. So, anyways. Let's try this out. Whoa. He thinks he's just gonna pig out. So, scratch, like, picking up the pieces, right? Just thinking positive. There's something there with the inner work, but you kind of catch my visual there. There's something there with the inner work where you can't do it for someone, but vegan diet is going to amplify your intention, because calcification tends to get you out of touch with a good intention, or lose track of your good intention. Okay? That even could help. I mean, if people were to, we don't know what that looks like yet, but people who maybe start a different diet, it literally leads towards consciousness, and then those people are gonna then gravitate towards wanting to hang out with other people more based off their lovingness, because the plants are more loving and have all these, they get sunshine. I mean, they get all kinds of stuff, man. There's a little bit of unspoken about each thing kind of deal. So hours pacing in a cell. I've done 9 months jail in my life. I don't think that's bad for me to share. But from that, I just learned to be like hyper positive and stuff. Basically, it's just like there's no room for negativity, you know. Like, and part of it is the fact that I like the positivity, and that's one way of putting how you can't do for other people what they don't want to do for themselves, or you can't just do it all for them. Is they must just like the negativity in a way, just kind of just resonating with it, just to kind of just okay with it, and the rest I don't know. You see yeah. See how things are panning out. Beautiful, right? So like even vacationing, I mean, well, that, or you just get, I mean, things still wouldn't be an issue. Even me, I naturally am going to view everything as like a field where I can go and it's all like acting once I go out in public. It all becomes acting once I go out in public. But, what was I going to say? It's coming to me. But, this is my alcoholic memory. The alcohol that I used to drink, not tonight, but another night. But, yeah, man. Other than that, these ideas are new. All you have to do, I mean, like YouTube and self-help even, dude, it's just about how you go about it. Every present moment, it's going to leak into your subconscious. Like, that's what I've really learned, is just kind of the same kind of secrets that I thought it was from when I tripped psilocybin and from when I was a kid. From when I was a kid, I had it all figured out too. That was the other thing. Like, I mean, you know, when I was a little junior, like nothing, I could just sit and just stare at a wall, and then from there I just became used to just being called cute and stuff. But like my eyes initially, I was so entertained by everything that I just put off like dope vibes, you know? And that was the understanding. I was also technically a dumbass, right? Because I hadn't learned how to learn yet. But that's the understanding, is that you can actually change based off like how you teach others once you're at a higher place. So once you grow up to be 28, let's say let's say I have a kid. How do I, we're looking at power here. We're looking at power. Time capsule. Like people like hard to explain. It's almost like major motion picture shit. It's almost like something like that, right? This is all the stuff we would do, man. Does that make you laugh and all this shit? Better yet, I can't like force it, but how am I still trying to be cool? It doesn't make any sense. How? There's a fine line, right? There's a fine line of realness. There's something about life, because of if it goes to survival, if it goes to whatever, we live in a land where they take survival seriously, murder. They take murder seriously. So that aligns with my principles, because I think of it the same exact way. So in other words, I don't lust for murder. No. I love people, man. So, just kind of hard to explain. It's fine. You can figure out that I'm not the same as, any type of person. I'm not the same. But like, as far as like people that, if you think you fit into a label of like almost like you're in like denial or something, like that type of shit, then it's like you're probably a real one. Just because you respond positive to that, even would say that you're real. It's simply, I'm one of those spirits where if heaven is like dangled in my face, right? Then I'm like, oh, this feels like heaven, you know? Other people, it dangles in their face and they're just like, you know, with time, right? So hard to explain. In other words, when there's a good person, you do not want to see to their demise. You want to see to their success, you know, because that humans definitely play the role, right? So this is like acting like the shit or whatever. I don't know. It's just humor. This is what you keep on getting like you know, like bugged out by the grid with this shit, you know. And it's really weird putting it into perspective with the world, how like you'll see things on media and you piece together exactly what you learned about, and then you take that exact thing and then you go try it out in the world and then learn it that way. It's a really mind-blowing. A lot going on, but exactly. Even still, just, I even have deeper philosophies where I'm like, dude, I don't even need to go to the city. Dude, I can meditate and make it to heaven here, you know? So stuff like that, like any real spirits are already going to be with you, and that is my value system. As real spirits are with you already because they're tied in. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. They're actually similar thinkers when it comes down to it. All right, guys, peace out. You dig? Well, let's give it another 3 minutes. Come on. So, yeah, man, the whole emotional roller coaster of this channel, it's so cheesy, right? Like, interesting how everything adds up with exactly what the knowledge I was reading. That's interesting. That's fascinating, and that's what's happening with Michael's channel. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm just messing around, man. Like Jack in the Box. Come on, man. Think about going to other channels, man. You gotta stick here, man. That's not chill, man. That's not chill with us, man. I like my audience. All right, now I'm done. Now I've had my fill. A little shoulder to lean on. Just something, just whoops. Just slaying, just grabbing people, just. You want to see a little shadow boxing? I could do that. Let's try it on this channel. Show you the old see what I learned here. Whoops. That was cool, right? I got too much silver on, but you know, it's too heavy. 1, 2, let's see. Just gotta, points. Anyways. I've learned a lot from this. I'm having a lot of fun. It's a good video. Peace out, guys.